For decades, the global economy followed a simple structure. The United States dominated global finance, technology, and trade. China was known primarily as the world's manufacturing powerhouse. But today, that balance is shifting. A quiet but powerful economic rivalry between the two largest economies on Earth is reshaping global trade, supply chains, and geopolitical alliances. This is not a traditional war. There are no soldiers on the battlefield, no missiles in the sky. But the consequences of this conflict could affect every country, every industry, and every person connected to the global economy. Because the competition between China and the United States is no longer just about trade. It is about technological leadership, financial influence, and control over the future of global markets. The roots of the U.S.-China economic rivalry stretch back several decades. After China began opening its economy to global markets in the late 20th century, international companies quickly recognized the country's potential. China offered massive labor capacity, rapidly expanding infrastructure, and access to one of the largest consumer markets in the world. As global companies moved production to China, the country became known as the world's factory. Factories across China produced electronics, machinery, clothing, and countless other products shipped to every corner of the globe. Meanwhile, the United States remained the center of global finance, innovation, and high-technology industries. For many years, this relationship created mutual benefits. American companies gained efficient manufacturing capabilities. China experienced rapid economic growth and rising living standards. But as China's economy expanded, the relationship gradually evolved from cooperation to competition. One of the most important areas of competition between the two countries is technology. Modern economic power increasingly depends on advanced technologies such as semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and telecommunications infrastructure. These technologies influence everything from smartphones and computers to military systems and financial networks. The United States has long been a global leader in high-tech innovation. Companies based in Silicon Valley helped create many of the digital platforms that define the modern economy. However, China has invested heavily in developing its own technological capabilities. Major Chinese companies have expanded rapidly in fields such as telecommunications, electric vehicles, and renewable energy. Government programs have also supported large investments in artificial intelligence and semiconductor manufacturing. As a result, technology has become one of the most intense areas of economic competition between the two nations. Another key element of the economic rivalry involves global supply chains. For decades, many multinational companies relied heavily on Chinese manufacturing, but geopolitical tensions and economic risks have encouraged some companies to diversify their production networks. New manufacturing hubs have begun emerging in countries across Asia and other regions. At the same time, China continues to strengthen its own industrial capabilities through advanced manufacturing technologies and automation. This shift in global supply chains represents one of the most significant transformations in international trade in recent decades. Beyond technology and manufacturing, financial influence also plays a major role in the competition. The United States has long benefited from the global dominance of the U.S. dollar. Because international trade and financial transactions frequently use dollars, the American financial system holds enormous influence over global markets. China has been gradually expanding its own financial presence through international investment projects and cross-border economic partnerships. Large infrastructure initiatives and trade agreements have connected China with countries across Asia, Africa, and Europe. These projects aim to strengthen economic ties and create new trade corridors linking multiple regions.
Another dimension of the economic rivalry involves international alliances. Countries around the world are navigating relationships with both the United States and China. Many governments seek economic cooperation with both powers while avoiding direct alignment with either side of the competition. This balancing act reflects the complexity of the modern global economy. Trade, technology, and investment networks are deeply interconnected, making it difficult for countries to fully separate their economic relationships. Looking ahead, the competition between China and the United States is likely to continue shaping global economic trends. Both countries possess enormous resources, technological capabilities, and economic influence. Rather than a short-term conflict, many analysts believe this rivalry represents a long-term structural competition that could last for decades. The outcome will influence global trade patterns, technological innovation, and the balance of economic power in the 21st century. History often shows that major shifts in global power happen gradually. Sometimes the most important transformations occur quietly, through economic changes rather than military conflict. The rivalry between China and the United States may become one of the defining stories of our time, because the choices made by these two economic giants will influence the direction of the global economy for years to come, and the world is watching closely.